Hi, everybody. This is Charlene Burke with Grow Because You Know. That's www.growbecauseyouknow.com. Welcome to today's blab, which is all about, so hey, you want to know more about mastermind groups? This is the place to ask those questions. I have been moderating mastermind groups since 2009. A few free, a few paid. Got some going right now. And I've done a little bit of research, and I am currently creating an online course on how to set up, manage, and market mastermind groups, which will be helpful to anybody who would like to be a facilitator or moderator of such groups, but also helpful to those who want to create their own group for themselves so that they can be an active participant. I'm welcoming questions. Anybody who wants to come into the open seat, you're welcome to do that. Join me on live stream. Let's have a conversation. It is not a monologue. The intention here is not to be, hi April, is not to be all about me. It really isn't. I want to help whomever has questions that they want answered about mastermind groups. And I know I can help because I got the experience. How's that? Oh, it's good to see everybody here. All right, so we do have a question about what's the origins of masterminds. Well, I can tell you this, that the term mastermind actually comes from Napoleon Hill. And it was as a result of conversations with Andrew Carnegie, as a way to describe how Andrew Carnegie and hundreds of other highly successful, very wealthy businessmen got that way. And one of the ways they got there that everybody had in common was they had an alliance with like-minded people that were interested in their success and they could be interested in theirs. It would originally start with Carnegie. It started out with just a handful of people. I think it was 5 or 6 people. But Carnegie had a talent of being able to bring people into his company who shared his vision and wanted it to succeed. So eventually his mastermind group became 50 or more people. And those were the staff and partners of his company that would gather on a regular basis to problem solve. So the term mastermind comes from Napoleon Hill's description of 2 or more people gathering in perfect harmony to solve a problem. Now, before then, groups like this have been around. In Benjamin Franklin's time, they were called juntos. Junto, I believe. And if I'm incorrect, it's because it's Gento. And Ben Franklin talks about the groups that he belonged to, and they were very much like study groups, where these people intentionally got together to discuss issues and problems amongst themselves, not necessarily business related, but with the idea that we're going to walk out of here better than and knowing more than when we came in. So throughout history, there have been successful people and unsuccessful people trying to find the successful people gathering. And when they gather, the description Napoleon Hill gives is when they gather and they're all focused on solving a problem or helping somebody, the creative minds are gathered together. And while this is happening and interaction is happening, an other mind occurs. And that's what he's calling the mastermind. Having been in them myself, both online and in person, I've experienced that energy that comes. And it's where you're all focused on helping somebody with a particular problem, be it business or personal. It doesn't matter. We're all focused on the same thing. And we're coming together in harmony, right? We're not here to be a devil's advocate, to set debate, to do anything more than let's find the solution. And we're throwing it out, right? You have, let's throw it out and see if it sticks. You have brainstorming that's happening amongst everybody. And the ideas that are coming out are sometimes based on our own experiences. But where the mastermind comes into play is that it's not based on our experience, but suddenly we have this inspiration. we're in the middle of brainstorming, you, me, and 3 other people, and it's your turn, it's my turn, then it's your turn, it's my turn. We're coming out, and as other people are talking, suddenly I'm struck with an idea to my left of my own devices I never would have thought of before. And I blurted out. And it's, wow. I don't know where that came from. It's not based on my own experience. As to my knowledge, this isn't something I studied, but I think this would work. And somebody else picks up on it, and somebody else picks up on it. And that's the sharing of the creative energy that Napoleon Hill calls the mastermind. The origin of masterminds. So we had another question here. I know we did. It's just I can't get down to see it. Is that Jackie? Jackie, you snuck in. Hey, Jackie. Good to see you. Thank you. Glad you're here. So when I answer a question, I was hoping that it would like scroll up, but it's not scrolling up. So here we go. Oh, how does a mastermind work? Are there different styles and types? Yeah, Jackie, I know what you're talking about. You're welcome to join me in the seat if you like. Fill it up while I answer this question. So how does a mastermind work? In a variety of ways. But ultimately, over history, over time, it's been proven that the best mastermind groups have a leader. Okay, there's three keys. Let's do it that way. I believe that there are 3 keys to having a successful mastermind. One is the structure. Okay, has to have a strong structure, or else the group will devolve into a social gathering, or not sure what the heck you're supposed to talk about this. Yeah, I should be here in 10 minutes. So that'll be fine. Or sometimes what happens, especially without a leader, it doesn't take long before people just walk away. Okay. So the other thing that is key to mastermind success and helps it to work is that there's commitment. If you're going to join a mastermind group, I am referring to my notes, which, by the way, are part of the e-course I'm putting together. The group must take priority in your life. It really must. You may as well not bother. And that's because this is serious stuff here. We're gathering, the masterminds I'm a part of and those that I moderate are all about the success of the individuals there. And it's about building their businesses and getting further and getting things done and doing things. And if you're not committed to participating, in addition to receiving from those that are in the group, if you're not committed to show up when others are going to show up, you're going to be an anchor. And honestly, what will happen, and this has happened, the group members look at you as somebody that's not interested in the group. You know, you're not interested in what I'm doing and what I have to say, so why should I listen to you when you do attend the group? So when you have a leader and you have structure and you have somebody like that, then what happens is the leader or the moderator facilitator, if they see this happening, will step in. If they don't, oftentimes what will happen is the group members will ask, and this has happened to me. The group members have asked me to, could you please kick so-and-so out of here? They're only showing up every once in a while, and every time they show up, they're saying the same thing, which means that nothing we say matters. So I had a conversation with so-and-so, and I expressed in a firm but nice way that this is what's happening. And so said, yeah, I know. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to be doing, how I'm going to be doing it. And I didn't realize I was doing it that often. So yeah, I'll do better. I'll do better. Let me come back. Or I'll see you at the next meeting, because I didn't tell her that it was time to leave. I said, okay, we'll give you some more ties. She came back, and after about I guess maybe the second or third meeting, same thing. And then she didn't show up. And then same thing. And I said, no, this isn't going to happen. So it didn't take the group asking me to. I went back to her and I said, you know, it just seems to me that the group isn't giving you what you need. You're not getting what you need out of this group. So can I recommend that we find another group for you, or possibly that you simply go in a different direction than what you were doing with originally when you joined the group? that's the way I approached it, rather than saying, you're really dragging the group down, got to kick you out. Because I don't know all the details of what's happening. I'm not sure what's going on. All I know is that I have to protect the health of the group. And actually, she was very responsive. She said, you are so right, and I am so sorry. I really wanted it to be different this time. Wasn't able to do that. I'm going to leave the group, and when I get things together, it was kind of like that. I said, yeah, when you get things together, you're always welcome back. Just right now, it doesn't seem like it's a good idea for us to be able to help you. We can't. We're not of any help. And she actually, what ended up happening was she shut down her business and she got a job elsewhere. Well, guess what? You can't have a job elsewhere and be a member of a mastermind group for solopreneurs. If you're not building a business, it's not going to be of any help. So it actually was pretty good for her. I think that somebody recognized and told her that you might need something else. You're not in the right place, rather than just enabling her to stay wherever it was she was staying. So that turned out pretty good. All right. What was the first mastermind that Charlene Burke participated in? So in the context of meeting regularly, okay, because I told you have masterminds where you're meeting together on purpose with a purpose, and that's to problem solve. So sometimes you're only meeting together 2 or 3 times. Other times you're meeting together on a regular basis. So let me answer this. The first one where we gathered on purpose to problem solve was back in the 80s. That was back in the 80s. We only met a couple of times. That was directly related to what was happening with the business. It wasn't my business. I happened to be I was managing a direct marketing firm. And actually it was the direct marketing arm of a manufacturer. And the manufacturer was asking, how can we utilize the direct marketing that you're doing over here with our other divisions? How can we bring people together to make that happen? What needs to happen? Well, wait a minute. The problem really is we're not making any money, right? So we need to gather and start throwing things up on the board, see what sticks, get creative about this. So those are those kind of masterminds. And I've had those in a variety of settings where, as an engineer, I've gotten with other engineers on the team and hold ourselves, that's where we get into the room and we close the doors and we got the whiteboard up there and we have at it. We've got a problem. The mixer broke and it keeps breaking. We need, is it the motor? Is it the metal of the shaft? Is it the metal of the props? Is it the viscosity ratings? Is it what's going on here? And then, let's see, I've had where it was moderated. Again, that type of session where an outsider was brought in. We paid her. There were 2 of us. And she was brought in to facilitate the 2 of us trying to solve the problem of how were we going to come together to build a new business. And we spent a full day on that one. And she continued to ask questions. She continued to put them up for us to see. We would continue to look at each other. And what would happen is, as she got the questions going, I would start talking about, this is my vision. This is what I believe we should do. She would start talking, and then I'd like, yeah, I can add that. Okay, so creatively, what would happen is I'd be thinking, I didn't even think of it that way. So that's why we had somebody else putting everything up on the board and on Post-it notes. And then I've had a moderated group. And the most recent one I was in was a CEO roundtable. I paid for the privilege. I attended it physically once a month. And I was in it for a couple of years. There were 6 other business owners, very diverse backgrounds. And so we had brick and mortar owners. We had online business, me. We had a brain surgeon. We had what did we have? We had a credit card processing company, and we had a realtor, and she was a broker with her own brokerage. And we met once a month, and we went through exercises to broaden our thinking, to improve our communication skills, to put our problem out. We'd have hot seats, so whoever's turn it was could put whatever needed to be put out on the table for discussion. And we had a moderator and a facilitator. And I recently left that group. It served its purpose for me, which was to help me get focus and move forward with Grow Because You Know. That happened. I didn't need you anymore. I thanked everybody. You've served your purpose, and move on. How many have I done over time? Really? I don't have the stats. The ones that I moderate now, and the type that I moderate now, I've been doing since 2009. And I've also been doing them, let's see, they've all been virtual, except the one that I participated in. I'm talking about the ones that I moderate. And they're a little different in each of them. Off the top of my head, you're going to make me go out and look, though. Jackie, April, good to see you. Steph with an F. You're going to make me go look. I'm going to say it's safe to say 10 or 12. Because they're time framed, they're time commitments. There's 3 months, 6 months. There's one that's been going since 2009, all of that stuff. All right, we have a train.
Sorry.
Who had the train?
That is my cell phone on vibrate. And since we're in political season, like every 5 minutes I want to learn I need a mastermind to teach me how to block unknown callers, because they're all political calls. I can't stand it. I don't know how they got my cell phone.
There's an app for it. I've got one on mine. It's a blacklist.
Oh, well, then I'm going to have to get that from you later. Sorry about that. Apologies. In fact, I think I'm going to just turn it off.
The timing was funny because it's going off as I hear train, and April has the shadow going by, and I'm thinking, well, it's at April's house. She lives by a train.
April, hello. I just want to say it's a pleasure to meet you.
Oh, thank you, April. It's good to meet you as well. Thanks for jumping on.
Well, that was Jackie who said that.
I was saying that to April because I've not met April yet. We've been on a lot of blabs together.
Yes, we have.
Okay. So, questions, comments? I'm just answering Steph with an F because she just has.
I know she is on it with the questions. It's amazing
awesome that way, though. She is awesome that way. I've met with her in other groups. She's awesome. Not on Blab, elsewhere. She's awesome. Follow her, by the way, because she's awesome. Just so everybody knows.
So one of the questions that just came up actually for me was when you were talking about this mastermind that you were just in that was live versus all the other ones that have been online for you. Did you find that there was a difference in the dynamic? Or, I mean, of course there's a difference in the dynamic because it's different people, but inherently because you were live in person, was there a different flavor to it?
Yes, and there will be, because you have that physical energy that happens when you're with people. Literally, when I am in proximity of other human beings, I'm going to have that chemistry that happens. So it's difficult to articulate other than to say it is different. In my experience, it's neither better nor worse, but it is a different experience. But it's just like if you think about, here we are gathered, right? How much different would that be if we were sharing a meal at a restaurant? Or in the back room where it's really quiet, right? Or we're having a cup of coffee, we're the last ones in the pub, and we're having a cup of coffee talking about things. It's a different feel. And it's because you're in person.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, so I have my question. How am I doing on sound? Because I'm trying a new mic
You're
today.
okay.
Good.
You're okay.
Okay, so I am wanting to run my first mastermind. I've actually put it out there. I actually have a couple of questions. So I guess Stephanie and I are going to have a lot in common in a second here. So my first mastermind I want to run is leveraging live stream mastermind. And I want to do it right now for public speakers because a lot of them are not on Blab and they don't understand Periscope or Meerkat. And honestly, I'm an early adopter in the sense that I saw Meerkat and Periscope come, and I know that they're out there. I'm not a user. I know a lot of people are. But for me, Blab kind of allowed me to bypass the Periscope Meerkat train because I feel like Blab is so much better than those, because those are such a monologue and this is such a dialogue, right? And so I've put it out in these groups. I'm curious on marketing timeframe. I'm curious on vetting people that are not in those Facebook groups. So if I want to put out broader, maybe across my Twitter, that I'm going to start this leveraging live stream mastermind, how do I do some intake to make sure that the synergy won't, die, that the synergy is good for the people? I've heard 6 is a good number for a mastermind, especially something like this. And am I really doing a mastermind? So that's why when I saw Charlene, first of all, when I saw it was you, I was like, oh, I have been on Blab since 7 a.m. Pacific time, y'all. I had to go run and put some makeup on because I was like, okay, I'm finally getting on camera. I haven't gotten anything else done.
Thank you.
But when I saw you jump on and I saw your topic, I was like, oh my gosh, okay, that's it. I have an opportunity. Sorry for the bad phrase, but I have an opportunity to pick her brain. I am going for it.
That's what I'm putting it out there for. Pick away. You got it. Well, let's start for the I do not. You better not be talking about me, Chuck. I do not. All right, Chuck's a friend.
Blabbers Anonymous. I think we all need that.
No. All right, so let's tackle the first thing. Is it really a mastermind that you are putting together? The question I have is this. When you gather, are you going to be a full participant, a trainer, or simply to sit back and make sure everybody talks to each other?
So trainer and sitting back. So trainer and moderator is where I see it. And I've actually wanted to do this on several topics, but didn't know that this is what it was called. And so recently I've come across several people on Blab that are talking about this being masterminds. And
all right. So you need to know where I come from, because that's not a mastermind. That's a group coaching.
Okay.
The mastermind is, I as a facilitator moderator, I bring the people together and they are the ones with the issues, the questions, the goals that need to be reached. My job initially is to ask the questions, to dig a little deeper, and then open it up so everybody else has the opportunity, and it's everybody else that's providing the answers for each other. Mm-hmm. I am not the purpose that they are there. I'm the one that got them together. I am the one that make sure that the group is healthy and they're getting what they need from the group. I will bring in some of my mastermind groups, I bring in outside speakers or trainers, or somebody inside will train on a specific something that the group wants to learn about. But the point of gathering together is to have 6 to 7 other people totally focused on helping me to be successful on what I need to get done, be it a goal that I want to reach, be it part of my business that's in trouble, be it sometimes it's personal because, of course, it's us, we're people. What you're talking about, correct me if I'm wrong, is I would set up a group coaching session or series where, based on my experience, knowledge, and that which I've researched, I'm going to talk to you and show you and introduce you to live streaming. I'm going to tell you about my own experiences, the good, the bad, the ugly. I might bring in a couple other people. I'm going to ask you about your own experiences, but ultimately you're going to come out of this learning something from me. Okay. And that's the purpose you're coming, is because of me. Whereas if it were what I consider to be a live stream mastermind, it would be a gathering of those of us who are experienced in live streaming, whatever the live stream is, and gathering together to share our experiences so that we can each be better for it. And the leader is making sure we're staying on topic, but not leading the training, not the focus. I could leave as a participant and you all could still be meeting, talking about the live streaming and how beneficial it is to my business. Do you see the difference?
I do, and I'm wondering if I just need to tighten up my agenda, because what I foresee is I wanted to do this kind of intensive. I didn't want it to be the long term. My understanding with masterminds is that they can be like 6 to 12 months. I was actually looking at like a 6-week intensive. That would be, week 1, they would do the getting to know each other. And homework from that would be go and watch each other's, either go look at each other online or go watch each other's like YouTube channel, or if they do Periscope or Blab or whatever. So the whole like, okay, now that we know who you are, and then week 2, and maybe they should do that ahead of time, I don't know. Week 2 would then be, okay, now everybody, let's give some feedback of what you saw, what recommendations you could make. So I guess in a sense, I'm training because I think that I'm pulling in a lot of people that are not using Blab, and I'm trying to expose them to the opportunities.
You're doing training with coaching.
Okay.
In the purpose of business coaching, and that's fine. That's perfectly okay.
Oh, yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. It's just one of the reasons I'm even doing these is that I want to combat the misappropriation of the use of the word mastermind.
Yeah.
And it's because the same thing I just described, you could do the same thing in the form of the mastermind, but really what you're going to do is you're going to bring together who already have experience doing it, and you're going to guide them to be able to help each other. It's peer grouping. Okay. Peer coaching, if you will, peer discussion, peer problem solving. What you're talking about is fabulous. Holy crap. I'd love to. And it's fabulous. Good for you. Yay. I might scarf it off of you. Let's talk later, not interrupt what you're doing. No trade off, it's plenty of business, right? Yeah. So you're going to be setting all the agenda of what they're going to do, how they're going to do it, how they're going to be graded, if you will, how to know if you've completed something or if you've accomplished something. You're the one that's going to do that. So that's why I'm calling it training, or if you want to call it a mastermind, I would recommend just to stay with what I think, again, it's opinion, that your training sessions, a series of trainings that involve small group mastermind sessions. Mm-hmm. Then what you could do, you're the one still guiding everything, but you could bring that mastermind portion in, and I'm going to recommend you do, where they come together to share the experience of having accomplished something. So that might be week 3 or 4 after they've done their homework and they've evaluated themselves against each other. So now let's have a mastermind. We're going to gather together, and this is what I want you to do. Yeah, I'll call on each of you and you start sharing your experience and what you've seen others do and what you've learned to this point, but ask your questions now of each other so that they can then get together and say, well, I'm really stuck on that sales funnel. I'm really stuck on the graphics. I'm really stuck on the headlines. I'm really stuck on getting rid of the ums, ands, ors, or filler words, or looking really I'm really stuck at staring at myself on live stream because my hair is just, I'm stuck on this. And you let the group guide with their own experience. And you as a moderator, that's where you step back and you watch it happen. And if somebody starts taking way too much time, you say, whoa, hold on now. That's some great stuff. Always include the positive. Great stuff you've been sharing. Can we allow some other people? We'll have some free time at the end, because you always block that out, right? Yeah, you just always block out. Free time, open floor type of discussion. Can we get to the next person? What wonderful things you've gotten out of this. Let's go to the next person. How can we help you? Right, and that's part of the moderator, facilitator. And then at the end, you have the open floor. And sometimes the moderator, facilitator has to say, I said open floor, not party. So one at a time, that's your personality.
I have excellent crowd control. I mean, I'm always the one at conferences that people are asking to be the timekeeper. And when I do my trainings or my public speaking, I mean, I stepped off the national stage to stay home for the 4 years that my son's in high school. And, I'm excellent at bouncing back and forth and doing the moderating. So that's why I'm taking it all in. And I'm like, okay, So I know kind of where the vision was, that I wanted to expose them to Blab, but I do think in hearing you explain it a little bit cleaner that I'm like, well, I think actually what I want to do is I want to bring together these public speakers, and I want them to be talking to each other about what they are doing, currently. But the training piece would just simply be me interjecting, oh, are you guys familiar with Blab? And then maybe what I do, instead of saying, oh, okay, here, I'm going to talk about that, is I say, okay, so I'll put something together for you guys all that you can go do separately from the mastermind, so that there's always that sense of support. And that's what I was looking for, because the masterminds I was in was years ago, and I honestly don't even remember. I've got, I'm aging, I've got mommy brain, I've got menopause going on. I mean, I've got all kinds of memory loss issues that are happening. So, I don't really remember how they were structured. And honestly, I don't remember them being structured well. I do remember feeling like people took over too much time. So that's a good
That's the importance of the moderator facilitator.
Right.
The way I run my groups is there's a lot of interaction, and I'm very conscious of who's talking and who's not. So when I see, and I'm watching the time, and we've just spent 20 minutes on one person, I'm okay with that, and the group's okay because everybody's participated in it. But it's also a time for me to say, we've spent a lot of time, and I think you've gotten some great answers here. Well, why don't you mull on that a little bit, take some time with that, and we can go to so-and-so, let them have the floor, or what have you.
Hi, Barry. Welcome. I do have one last question, and then I know Jackie's just dying to get in here. Answer me after Jackie talks, but I want to know what the optimal time frame is. Is it 60 minutes? Is it 90 minutes?
Depends on the number of people.
Okay.
It really does, and on the focus of what you're doing.
Okay.
All right. So I have one group that meets for 3 months, maximum of 8 people, maximum of 2-hour meetings each time we meet. I have another group that is a commitment of 6 months with a maximum of 6 people, and again, maximum of 2 hours each time we meet. You get more people, you're going to have more time. But what's going to help guide you is what it is that you are doing. You're training, and you are workshopping, is what I heard from you. You're training, you're workshopping, and within that, you can have small mastermind groups where you have the participants gather together and solve problems amongst themselves. That's what I heard.
Jackie, I want to hear you too.
Well, actually, it was... Okay, I'm getting major feedback. Is it me?
I wonder if it's
Keep
my mic.
talking.
Okay.
Okay.
No, I'm not hearing it. So, okay. So, Charlene, you brought up, when you were talking about the role of the moderator, and you and I have talked about masterminding before, but I don't think I really focused in on the importance of that. And my experience with Mastermind, I've been in a mastermind for almost 4 years now, which I've just recently stepped out of. It was not moderated. We were all good about managing our floor time, so to speak, but it really turned more into a personal fest with a little business sprinkled in. And that's why I needed to step out, because I know I need more than that. So my question is, what are the qualities of a moderator? And how much do you think moderating actually factors into the success of any given mastermind?
So the first thing that a moderator should have is the skill of crowd control. That's it, April. Being able to grab their attention and keep them focused. The second is that they care about the health of the group. That each individual is very important, and each individual's participation is vital to the health of the group. So you can't just let somebody sit back for 2 or 3 meetings and take. Now what can happen is somebody says, I completely changed my focus on everything, and I don't know where I'm going to go, but I don't even know what questions to have. Tell that to the group. That's participating, because they've been with you to this point. You don't just sit back and say, well, I'm just going to sit back and hope I come up with something. You tell them what's going on. The other thing that I believe makes for a good moderator is one who knows how to ask the questions. I'm looked to as the leader of the group, And I look to my facilitator moderators as the leader of the group. So when somebody speaks, they are the ones that speak first. The leader does. And that sets the tone of the kind of questions that we're expected to stay within. Because sometimes what can happen is somebody's bringing up a lot of personal issues along with the business issue. So if nothing happens and we have a free-for-all, people can go off on all kinds of tangents on the 6 personal issues that somebody brought up, and it devolves into an attempt at group therapy that just isn't working. Yes. But if you have the moderator leader can say, there's some really tough stuff going on here that we can maybe address privately amongst ourselves between meetings. But what I heard you say about this, so maybe to reframe the business question, or a really poignant to be able to say, you said something about this personal, and I have a feeling that it really does have an impact on where you're trying to go. So I'm going to ask the group to focus on that. We can always change that, but at the moment, this is what I'm hearing. And oftentimes it's, oh yeah, that's really what the core issue is. That happens to be a skill of mine, is to be able to discern amongst the stuff that this is what we need to be focusing on. So I think it's important that somebody be able to do that, so that you don't have conversation and discussion just devolve into sharing of personal experiences, so that we can all get through this personal experience with the least amount of pain. That's not the point. We're here to problem solve. Those are my groups. My groups are based on problem solving, finding solutions, sharing resources, networks, based on experiences, how I think, and then coming up, being brainstorming and things like that.
Thank you.
Did that help?
Yeah, it really did, actually. Okay. Because like April, I was thinking of, I have a Facebook group that's called the Cosmetology Mastermind, right? But it's not really a mastermind right now. We're not really sharing ideas. So the clarity on that was really significant. And either I change the name of it, or I work into it, or let the idea of that go. But thank you. That was super clear to me.
Good.
So now I'm going to use my crowd control skills and say, Barry hasn't said a single word. We'd love to hear from you, Barry.
And that's exactly what a moderator facilitator does. It's exactly what he does. She does. Yes, Barry, come on in. What's up?
Well, I do exactly what people need to learn. Just shut up and listen, and you'll learn a lot. So I had a question on this. I'm used to, like, the book Think and Grow Rich, the old days, the Mastermind. They didn't have computers really back then. So
correct.
I charge people, and we make groups of people, and we have meetings, live meetings, like, Men's Lions Club, or, sort of the same way. And that's where it's sort of what you're talking about. I was going to say, I'm trying to get used to this new Mastermind where we do it all over the internet, and it's not as good as I want it to be. So that's what I'm aiming towards, trying to, because I don't want to give it away free to people, because I won't call it masterminding if I'm giving away all my information and talking to people free. Are you working it that way, or are you still charging people as a member or a group?
My mastermind groups are fees. You pay a fee, and we meet regularly. You know what to expect, because I put it all out there up front. You know what to expect. Sharing like this, of course, we have spot masterminds. Of course that happens. Everybody loves to jump in to solve a problem, and that's great. But it's perfect platform for it. I would have no problem jumping in, but I'm very conscious of how much information I'm giving. As a consultant, I'm very conscious of just how much you can pick my brain when it comes to anything other than the mastermind groups, because I put it out there. Ask your questions. Now's your time. But honestly, once this shuts down, when it comes to picking my brain about mastermind groups, not in this setting, we can talk about the fee, or we can talk about pre-signing you up for the e-course that I'm almost completed, how to set up, manage, and market mastermind groups. I use the online platform Zoom for mastermind groups, and it works very, very well. It's very stable. And as I had answered once before, with response to in-person versus online, there is a difference, but I don't think that either one is better in general. in
Here's
general.
a question that I can interrupt on purpose. How many people do you let in your mastermind team at a time? What's
So
the
I have a
You have
maximum of 8.
8, that's good.
Maximum of 8. Usually it's between 5 and 7.
Well, a lot of people don't know why you're only going 8. Maybe you need to explain that. I know the answer, but maybe a lot of people don't know why.
Well, you can share your answer. You're welcome to do that. It's not
It's
just
like,
me. That's
if
the
everybody
one
goes
here.
to a football game, you can't hear what they're saying. You just hear roar. It's just a lot of noise.
Yep.
Right. Or when we were in school, kids at lunch, you don't know what they're saying. You just hear a roar. That's the problem. When you get overpopulated with too many people, it just gets out of control and nobody's really in charge anymore. And that's the problem I noticed.
Right. You
7
have
to
difficulty
10.
to control. There's the difficulty to control. The other is you have way too many answers coming at you.
Yes.
Even if it's moderated and everybody has their time and we're all respectful and it's my turn. Oh, wait, you put up, because that's what they'll moderate themselves most of the time. Let me put up my hand. So everybody sees the hand's been up. So somebody finishes up, say, I think Jackie had something to say, just like we do in Blab. The moderator steps in when they don't notice.
Yeah.
But on Zoom, I can mute. It's awesome. So
that's why I'm having a problem, because I'm used to the old days. We would have a stick. You can't speak unless you have a stick.
Yeah.
Sort of,
well, you can still do that. You can have everybody have their own stick, whatever that is representing. There you go.
Yeah.
That's it. But also on Zoom, there's a way to raise your hand. So I love the platform. I love the platform for that. But having said that, what can happen is that if you have more than 6 or 7 people providing you with their version of an answer to your problem, you have way too much coming at you.
Right.
And they're anything more than that, and they're not feeding off of each other. It seems in my experience that when you have 5 to 7, 8 people who are focused on the single problem, they're starting to feed off of each other. Okay. That just seems to be a really good group. Other people, my own research has indicated that in the kind of groups that I run, that works well. Yes, there are larger, and they're for specific purposes, and they're different than what I run. They are masterminds. They're just different than what I run. So
that's the next question I sort of had. Are you building mastermind teams sort of like the old days? They're all in different businesses, or are they all in the same style business?
So one of them they're all in the same style of business. They're all information professionals. Mm-hmm. They all have different markets, different customers, different ways of running their businesses, but they're solopreneurs, information professionals. Another one I run is solopreneurs in very different industries. Another one is for all the ones I run are for solopreneurs, are in similar industries, but they're not all exactly the same. My primary criteria isn't the industry. It's the kind of person you are. When I vet somebody, because you have to go through me first, I don't just take your money and plop you into a group. When I talk to you, I have to know that you're willing to give as much as you're going to take, and that you're willing to accept answers from other people. That you're willing to put out a question and get answers. You're not going to like them. That's part of the conversation. Oftentimes, when I pick up on somebody that is pretty hard-headed, for instance, I'm talking to a physician. We have this Skype call, and he's all excited about joining a mastermind. He's retired. He's been retired for quite a few years. He's got plans to basically change the world because he is that awesome. It's great. It's wonderful. I mean, that's as succinctly as I can put it, And we're just talking along. And so I started asking him about, well, what do you want out of the mastermind group? Well, I want guidance on how to do some things. I'm not quite sure how to move forward in some areas. And honestly, I need a group to come to because I'm all by my lonesome here. And I know it's important that I have a team atmosphere, all the right answers, right? All the right answers. So how often are you participating in someone else's success? Have you ever mentored somebody? Nope, never had the time. Do you spend time with the grandkids? Oh, yeah, I do. So what do you think of the grandkids? Oh my God, they're so loud and noisy. Are you getting the picture? This isn't somebody that likes to give anything. And it continued on more than that, but it's a conversation. And so I'm looking at him, and all the while I'm thinking, I've got this group of people over here that I'm thinking of putting him in with. And how can I see, is that going to work?
Right.
No. So I just, we talked some more and I said, are you really sure that a mastermind's what you're looking for? Because it sounds to me like what you're really looking for is a mentoring situation where you have somebody who's ahead of you that can spend time and guide you. Mm-hmm. And after some talk, he said, yeah, actually, I think that is the better. So, I shoot him away, said, thank you, goodbye. It was great meeting him, but he's not a member of a mastermind group. And I don't know that if we talked again, that maybe he would be. But at the moment, the group I had going, he would not have been a good fit. He wouldn't have gotten anything, and he would have been too abrasive for the group that was gathered. Mm. So that's part of, I think, the responsibility of the person who's forming the mastermind groups.
So that's a good question that I had asked earlier. I know I asked way too many once, so I'll come back to it. What is your intake process as far as, I know that there's got to be some sort of maybe a questionnaire or a set of questions that you ask to vet the people to come in. And by the way, Sean, thank you for saying I'm sitting too still. It's because I'm intently listening to Charlene, because this is how I learn. I'm like soaking it all in like a sponge.
That's why I love April. She's right there. So I have a general list, but I also have a list of questions for the person to ask themselves. So sometimes we're not able to get together for a quick Skype conversation right away, but somebody's expressed interest. Hey, here's a questionnaire for you. I want you to grade yourself. Okay. And when you grade yourself, either send it to me or you'll be prepared for the conversation we're going to have. And that's pretty much the questions that I use in the conversation. But it's more of a conversation instead of, I have the checklist that says, do you do this? Do you do that? Are you like this? Are you like that? So it's more of a conversation, because they also need to be, and I'm assuming they're interviewing me as well. I'm the one that they're going to be seeing at every one of these meetings. Does my voice grate on you? You might not want to be in a meeting with me for 6 months. Think about it, right? You don't like the way that I do my hair and it just annoys the bejeebies out of you to the point where you're going to go crazy. I don't know. You may have a hair fetish. Then by God, don't join my group. Okay. That's, you know what I mean? Right. So it's a give and take, but that's the way I approach it. Yes. I have a questionnaire. Yes. That'll be a part of the course once it's completed, which should be by the end of this weekend. Anyway.
That's exciting. Charlene, I'm going to step out so somebody else can step in, but I'm going to be here. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to be in the comments here, but I want to make room for somebody else who might have questions. So
okay,
thank you all.
Yeah, don't go away.
I don't know anything.
Jackie, I'll catch up with you when we're done here too.
Absolutely.
Uh-oh. And Charlene, one last thing before I jump out for to take a seat too is I had 2 people that were interested in my concept. So is it okay if I?
Pardon me?
Is it okay if I put the link to the
Please do. Absolutely. I'm interested in your concept. Actually, I'd like to have a conversation with you on the side that maybe I can pick your brain a little bit and help you to formulate some things. You can help me formulate, and I might do something similar in a different tact. You're doing a live streaming. I might do it in a different tact.
Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you so much, but I'll still be in the comments.
Terrific. Good to see you, April. And you're welcome to jump back in, anybody. Hey, Barry. What else you got?
Can we go on something that I think it would help me? I know the answers, but I haven't heard it enough. I haven't been in a mastermind in so long. The new way. I'm used to the like multi-level style where we have group meetings, and every month we get together and have like outrageous times, Right. Those sometimes are not even talking about business, and we come up with ideas not even thinking
absolutely.
About. And that's what I'd like you to go over is really, what do people get together for? Why do you have a mastermind team? Maybe you can help them understand.
Well, see, this is interesting. You're talking mastermind team, and I'm talking mastermind group.
Okay, now that's what I'm wondering. Is there a difference? That's what I'm.
I think there is, and the reason I think there is that the team concept, the mastermind team, works beautifully in the same industry, or within a company. So if you have a setting of people that are already gathered together that are doing something similar, putting them together, they're teaming up with each other. So it's almost like success teams or accountability teams, something like that, or by meeting regularly together, that's going to turn into the mastermind kind of team. And they're self-selected, and usually they're yes, the shared vision and goal. So they have something in common. Now, honestly, that's the way Carnegie's team had. He called it his mastermind group, but he expanded it to those 50 some odd employees that he had hired that had the same vision and goal, but they were like-minded and they worked well in harmony. So when they met as a group, it was intense. That mastermind that came out, that's why he was so successful. And he freely says that. Right. That's my version of what I think a team is. I think a group is similar, except you can have that diversity of backgrounds, of businesses, of approaches and perspectives and talents and skills, and not necessarily sharing the same vision or goal, but interested in helping somebody else succeed and interested in having others help them succeed. I know it's a fine line, but that's what was catching my attention was the verbiage. So,
yeah, I was always thinking groups would be more like people that are in different businesses that sort of get together, and teams are people that are in the same corporation or same thing and they work together. Like Dell Computers, I worked for Dell when I was young, and we all had a mastermind team. We didn't even know we were doing it, but we all had different things to solve a problem. And when we came together, we can make pretty amazing inventions because we all had our own little section to put together, and then we made something. So that's what I was wondering.
Absolutely. And that's a mastermind. Yes, I had shared earlier that I had been in informal, it wasn't called masterminds, but it's a group of engineers focused on let's solve a problem.
Well, it's NASA does the same thing. I stole it from NASA. It's how they build the spaceships. You know, it's a mastermind team. They're always meeting. That's what
I like your distinction though about the team being within the company, within, you know, maybe even a department. Like in my experience, it was as the engineer that I was brought in to help troubleshoot what's happening here. We've got to figure out what's going on.
Well, probably the man that opened me up was Zig Ziglar, because he was paid very large amount of money to come into companies and just shake them and show them something they don't see. And that's what I believe was a good mastermind. He would show them. That's why I like people in different companies to sort of look at what I'm doing, because they'll notice something I don't notice because I'm doing it every day.
See, that's it. And I feel the same way, which is why I'm not stuck on you being in a different industry as much as I want to make sure that you're doing things different than the others are. So, for instance, a group I've got going now has a couple of coaches in it. How many coaches do we have? We have 2 coaches. One is a business coach, one is a life coach. Their target markets are very, very different. Their approach to business is very different. Their education is very different, but they're doing the same things. So it's wonderful to see that they're able to help each other because they get, I'm a solopreneur trying to build a coaching business.
Right.
And then the other 2 are very much in the tech area, very much in the tech area. And I was a little nervous when I brought one in because of his background. Okay. And it's working. So I'm glad of that. It's working. And I'm glad for the group that it's working. Could have gone the other way. But they're all bringing in a true concern for everybody else being able to reach your goals and to get what it is that you're wanting, why you came here. Because I have everybody express that when they come. This is what I came here for, and this is what I'm looking for and what I need help with. That's for the 3-month session. So
that's good.
What was that, Jackie? I'm gonna have to come back and check that out.
I'm just only going to tell you real quickly, just because I happened to see this morning. I had to just go back on Facebook and find it again. But Emirates, the airline, did this incredible. Did you see this with the 2 jet-propelled people flying in formation with a 787? Oh my God! The link is to the video, and the video shows the behind the scenes of how they made that happen and the teams involved to make this crazy concept work. It's not very long.
Anything's possible when you gather these people together,
including 2 people flying next to an 787 with jetpacks on. Like it's insane, but just Thank you, Barry, for bringing that up, because the NASA aspect of all that and the HP
look at the
aspect.
angels. You ever seen the angels fly?
Oh my
Yes,
God.
the Blue Angels.
That has to be the mastermind team, because they are talking, I mean, inches away from each other.
But that's just it. That's just it. And that's when you've really been meeting together for quite a while, you can read each other's minds.
Oh,
And you have that energy that transfers, like Napoleon Hill talks about. You know, suddenly I'm picking up, I feel like I'm reading your mind and I'm picking up your thoughts because I get it. You just started talking, but nope, I'm finishing it for you.
That's exactly what I'm talking about, a relationship. You really become a relationship. It's like a marriage. At first, you don't know each other, and then funny, later, women know exactly what the guy's fixing to say, or, you know, it's just that's what I love about a real mastermind team. You start to know
and that's what can happen over time. That's why I start them out, start you out at 3 months, and it's perfect for somebody who's never been in a mastermind group before to get it for what I'm describing as a mastermind group, the kind I'm describing. It's a great way, relatively inexpensive, to figure out, is this for me? And then there's a 6 month, which is different. It's an expansion of the 3 month, but there's a 6 month commitment that you can renew after 6 months. All right. And then I have another one that is more of a 12 month, and that's pretty intensive, but I'm not really focusing on that 12 month right now. It's the 3 and the 6 month. Get people used to me, get them used to being in a mastermind group, move on into a 6 month commitment, and let's expand on how much better I can be as the participant, how much better my business can be, because it's already been proven in the 3 months of where I can go with this.
But you're also grooming them to be excellent citizens within a mastermind community, right? I mean, because
so that they can take that participatory experience into another mastermind group or start their own, and it will work better for them.
It can be anything. Yeah, anything. So.
Yeah.
Well,
I've seen the results of bad groups. It's awful.
Maybe
Thank you, Barry.
I would love you to tease them about something I make jokes about all the time. Not against our schools, but they make you do your homework and your tests by yourself. And I tell people, I don't believe that's the way the real life is done. A mastermind team is when you are doing things as a group. You know, I like that.
When I was in college to get my robotics engineering degree, which very, very different than when I got my business marketing degrees.
How did I not know this about you?
What?
Your robotics engineering degree?
Oh,
bam.
I'd like to know which one, because I did laser stuff. I did on electronic. What's sad, they don't need
electronic engineering, electronics, basically.
Yeah, all that stuff is ancient. We don't
robotic system.
Nobody repairs.
No, that's not true. Still have high end. I was a high end mechanic out in the field, and but I got into some of the programming too.
The only way I make still good money is music stuff, because we still use good old tubes and stuff like that.
Well, what this was we would get into groups to learn, and tests were they were open book.
Oh.
And it didn't take very long for us to figure out that they were open conversation too. But most of us were adults, and we were intent on learning. It wasn't just like the old way back in the 80s when I did the business marketing. That was everybody's like this, got to take my test, it's like yes, no, false, true, got a grade, and move on. This was much more interactive and almost like clinicals, where during test time, you would see people bringing out various books, which are reference books, for God's sakes. Which resistor do you really need? Well, we could figure that up. But then you put that with the transformer or the transducer, and we want to have, proper layouts and schematics. And so we would bring all these out, and then suddenly, you've got 3 or 4 of us saying, I have no idea how we're supposed to be able to get this sucker to work. And then somebody else. So, yeah, that's why I love
that was my problem solving for Dale. I had to keep on teaching them. There's a deal called a capacitor to help things be drained. They kept on forgetting to put that in the motherboard.
The storage unit. It's the storage unit, people. You got the energy. Well, may as well transfer it in there now and store it for a while. That's one of the ways.
Better to have a backup and then a drain. Yeah. So you know what I'm talking about. A lot of people, it's over their head, but it's amazing how simple little things are.
Yeah, but there's nothing better than when a cap pops. I'm telling you.
Or you get shocked by a hot one.
You guys are about to lose me.
Oops. Sorry, I'm getting pulled back in the day. Sorry.
It's exactly like licking a hot battery. It doesn't feel good.
You know how many people will do that? Oh my God, that's so funny.
Oh my God, I haven't done that in probably years.
Never
Thank
did
you,
the tip of
Barry,
your
for
tongue.
taking me back. That was fun.
Yeah. Chicken
But
days.
yes, that's my old life. You know, I haven't done that in almost 10 years. So.
Well, I'm glad this could all come up for you. I'm going to jump back out because we've got a whole bunch of people coming back
I have to
in.
be on another one. I apologize. There's another person that I work with.
Okay.
Sort of following him. He's been a mentor for me for a very long time.
Okay.
But I'm going to hop on that, and it's already 1 o'clock. But it's good to see you again today. I know we were an earlier one, but I thought I had to pick on you because Mastermind, that is one of my biggest things I like to help people with, because you got to have a team, and don't work alone, because I can't do everything, honestly.
That's why I do them. That's why I have mastermind groups for solopreneurs. That is the main reason, is because they don't know how to form their group by themselves. They don't know what to do when they do form the group. It turns into a social event because they got together because they were lonely to begin with. And so I put these together so that they have a place to go with people who get that. I get the lonelies, I get the being at the top by yourself, at the bottom by yourself, and in the between. So, yeah.
Well, thank you for your time.
Thanks, Barry. It's good to see you again. Questions. Can there be multiple moderators? There can be, but not in the same group. What I mean by that, or maybe I should put it as multiple moderators in the same group, but each taking turns per meeting. How's that? As long as they all understand, maybe have the similar training, but also definitely have the don't mix things up too much, because that's not the reason we're getting together, is to be challenged to, unless it is, challenged to understand change all the time. So yes, there can be. Uh-oh, Eli, you're pulsing, and I don't know if it's you or me. Can everybody hear me? Because my internet's been wonky. I need a yay, Y or a no. Y's, no's. Well, I'm here. Okay, thank you. Nobody else is coming in.
I'm here.
Leave it to Blab. Oh, April, there you are. Okay, Eli, I am going to kick you out and ask you to come back in.
Try refreshing your browser, Eli, or you may have to go up into your address bar where the little camera icon is and give permissions for your camera. Many can. They're pretty invasive and sometimes can turn off your regular camera. Okay, so I thought I would jump back in because I'm going to post the link for that Friday live streaming mastermind. And then anybody who wants to go and tell me, this is totally new for me, guys. So thank you, Charlene, for letting me do this.
You're welcome.
Let me know if you guys can see it and if it makes sense. That's always my hardest thing, is the sales page part. Does it make sense what I'm trying to communicate out of my head to someone who can read my mind? But, you know, I don't know. And any feedback you guys have, I would love to have.
Happy to help.
Okay, and Stephanie with an F is asking, Charlene, is that the only role, moderator and participant? Are there any other role titles for mastermind groups?
Not that I'm aware of. If you do happen to be in a large group with 50, 60, 70 people, you're going to have teams within. So that's still a team or a small group that's gathering. There's participants and there's somebody who's going to moderate. It might be a team captain. But those are the only two roles.
And I'll tell you from my experience with, just groups and brainstorming, because that's where I pride myself in being really good at crowd control and brainstorming. And actually, Charlene, when you were talking about companies hiring someone to come in and help them mastermind, I was like, that's what I should be doing for a living.
That's why I want to talk to you. I think the two of us might put something together that we put ourselves out to be hired, to be brought in.
Yeah, definitely. So Stephanie, what I'll say about, once you get more than, and that's why I asked about the number 6, and I love that you have the number between 5 and 8. Think about the phrase, too many cooks in the kitchen. So if you have too many people that are...
I know, Steph. That's why I'm glad I know you. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, yes, help me find the people, yes. So if you have too many people that are trying to be the leader and aren't sitting back and being active listeners. If they're, and I hate
too many chefs in the kitchen.
Exactly. I hate to say it, but it's almost like if you don't have mature enough group setting, and that's why you want to match up your personalities to have a good synergy, because you don't want one person that hogs all the time, and you also don't want a wilting violet. You need everybody to understand that the role is to be a person that takes in, but is also trying to help. And so you have a pay it forward attitude, but you also have a receiving attitude, and it's got to be balanced the whole way.
Beautifully said.
What's up?
Beautifully said.
Oh, thank you. So hopefully that helps you, Stephanie, to understand as far as the roles and the switching and stuff. And that was why when I was asking Charlene about how to run what I want to do, is there is a little bit of teaching in the sense that I'm pulling people in. Their pain point in my idea is that they're public speakers and they don't know how to leverage these tools that are out that are new, because a lot of them are busy doing their public speaking. And so I want to create a format that allows them to come in and go, oh, I didn't know that was there. And then for me to say, all right, you guys go and do this for a week, and then let's come back. And I want you guys to support one another. And as you have questions, then I will be there as, I don't want to call myself the expert, because in live streaming, how can any of us be experts yet? But the idea being that I know more than they do in live streaming. And when they ask the question, that I'm there as a sounding board, but I want them to be supporting one another. So that's
why I'm saying you've got a training going on, workshop with many masterminds in there.
Yeah. And that's great. And that's beautiful, because that's the vision that I have for it. So Stephanie, when you're thinking about your masterminds, dissecting and maybe even going back and watching this recording and re-listening to how Charlene explained it to me, dissecting the difference between coaching, which is, if you're not familiar with coaching, it's very active listening. You let them, I used to call it dump your head out. Dump your head out and I'll listen and I'll take notes. And they go and go and go. And then when they're done, I say, so what I heard you say, that's a coaching term. And I kind of give them back this bulleted list of detangling their brain, right? And so in the masterminds, as a moderator, it sounds like what you'll be doing is listening to all of them and say, oh, okay, so-and-so said this, and I happen to know that so-and-so over here probably has an opinion about that. Why don't you pop in? And that's how you're moderating them and keeping them engaged with each other.
Yes, very similar to that. Very similar. And that's even, honestly, in the second group, when we'll bring in a marketing expert, it's not going to be me being the expert, unless the group asks that, well, Charlene, we know you know this stuff. Can you teach us? Sure. It'll be me that presents next time. Or they'll be saying, we really need help marketing. Say, well, would you like me to bring somebody in? Absolutely. All right, let's bring somebody in to train us on something in particular. And that way it isn't always about me. Just a thought.
I'm just reading the comments, Charlene, and it's that
great
side conversation over there. Oh, I would love to have a chef, and if somebody would come clean my house. And
all right, you too. Hey, Sam, you gotta say hi to Samantha tweeting.
Samantha, please come on. I just miss your lovely face so much. Please,
and her lovely accent.
And
tell us about mastermind groups in Ireland. Do you have mastermind groups there?
Oh, hang on, lipstick. She's so cute.
Yeah.
So, all of us women have that little bit of an ego. We had, I was like, oh, you gotta go do, a little bit of this, and I gotta throw some makeup on and pinch the cheeks, put a little lipstick.
Well, I don't think vanity's all that bad. We, the public, appreciate it.
Thanks.
I mean, think about that for a second, Well,
I do have to tell you, this morning I was watching, God, who was I watching first? I ended up in Social Media Examiner, but I was someplace else. Oh, I was watching Bonnie's Lab this morning. And then I jumped over to Social Media Examiner. And with all the guys there, I just am so jealous because they can just do the baseball cap and they look fine. So I went and grabbed my little, well, I went and grabbed my little girly baseball hat, and I had my hair pulled back in a ponytail and didn't have any makeup on and stuff. And my son looks at me and he goes, "What are you doing?" And then my assistant looks at me and she's like, "Are you planning on going on camera like that?" And I go, "I know, I look like I have cancer. I probably shouldn't be going on camera." So I had to go do the hair and the makeup so that I looked normal.
Well, we're going out in public.
Yeah.
That's the way I look at it. And it's vanity. Yes, it is. But it's also proper grooming. And it's keeping up the expectations, right? I set expectations long ago when I first started on Blab. And so I like to meet those expectations when I come on, and I come on camera as best I can.
Yeah, I agree with that too, because the other thing,
I wasn't going to go there, Jackie.
Well, but it is professional branding.
It's all about my branding here on Blab. Yes, it is.
But I was going to say, if it's being recorded, I don't know where that's going to show up again. So do I really want to be showing up with,
good thinking,
my pale face and, my PJ shirt and, one of the things I put in, it was Tech Blokes Blab was what I was in before this. And see, I really have been on all morning. I said something about, they were talking about coming on camera, and I just said, what about the people that are laying in bed? I mean, I'm baffled at what people are, doing outside
what
of the
they
business
think
world.
Is acceptable.
Well, but they're outside the business world. And that's the thing that I've told, yay, Samantha's coming on. That's what I've told a lot of my clients, is that if you are going to venture into some of the tags that are not business related, just be wary that you may see things that you didn't expect to see.
I've pretty much told all the same thing.
Hey, Sam.
Hello.
Good to see you.
It's so lovely. Do you know, I haven't been on Blab, I think, for a week.
Oh my gosh, that's forever around here.
And you picked mine. Thank you. Come on in.
Of course. I saw familiar faces and I went, okay, I'm so going in there. So it's lovely to see you, and thanks for inviting me on. So tell us, what's going on?
Well, what we're talking about here are mastermind groups.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I'm answering questions. And if you have answers, because Jackie shared her experience with groups. April was talking about what she remembered groups to be. Barry, the same thing. Answer questions. People are very confused these days about what a mastermind group is. And it's because, and I will say this out loud because I said it earlier and it made sense to me. It's the only reason I say anything I say. Is that the past couple of years, the term mastermind has been bastardized. And it has been used by people trying to sell programs. And mastermind is set up to be peer support, peer problem solving, peer oriented. It's not all about the one person. Mm-hmm. So if I come to join Sam's mastermind about how to be the best on Twitter, I expect that I'm going to get in there with other peers who are doing things with Twitter, and I'm going to learn from them. But instead, it becomes you training me, which is not a mastermind.
Okay.
It becomes a training session. It's a workshop, which is great. It's awesome. Except the misuse of the word is confusing people. And I'm getting people saying, I'm not going to join because I don't want to be taught anything.
Yeah.
See, people are saying, I don't want to join your group. You're going to be just like, and that's what I'm hearing from people. They don't say it that, I'm not going to join your group, because what they say is, well, every mastermind I've been in, I've paid a lot of money I didn't get squat out of. And when I talked to them, what they did was they paid $2,500, $7,500, $12,000. And what was supposed to happen was they were supposed to learn how to do a whole lot of things and get support, sharing resources, networks, and whatever, which is part of a mastermind, with the others that had paid that much to this person. And all they got was, well, here are the videos, and then we meet once a month via either video camera or teleconference. It's training, which is fine, except that it's a bait and switch. It's a feeling of deception. And I just have taken it upon myself that I am going to educate the world.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, we're not really familiar with that mastermind thing over here yet. We would is it like brainstorming? Like, or do you charge to be part of this group that you brainstorm together? Kind of. Is it? Okay.
Well, so there's a variety of ways. There's free, and then there's fee paid. So free would often be where you have gone to people you respect in your community and asked them if they would meet with you on a regular basis together to help you grow your business.
So you're kind of mentoring them.
Kind of. You're bringing in your own mentors. But what ends up happening is they start mentoring each other as well.
Yeah.
Because they like each other. And they're meeting regularly, and this works. So you have 6 to 8 people total that are gathering regularly. Then you have what are paid groups, and you do that because you want somebody to lead. to be the moderator, to set the tone, to make sure that you're going to get what you paid for, which is you cannot leave, Jackie.
Sorry, I just saw that. For those watching the recording, she said, I'm sorry, all, but I've got to go to an appointment IRL, which means in real life. Thank you for all the great info.
Yeah,
all right,
thanks,
Jackie, connect with you when you're done.
Oh, goodness.
Jackie rocks.
So with a paid group, the expectation is you're going to tell me up front what I'm paying for, right? And when I attend, that's what I expect to get. So it requires that you have a leader or a moderator of some sort, trainer, whatever the one in charge is. It's expected. And you're told ahead of time what you can expect to happen during those meetings. So the way I set it up is I have varying levels of groups, 3-month commitment, 6-month commitment. The 3-month is solely focused on goals and accountability. It's a perfect place for people to learn how to be a member as they're getting things done. For them to decide, is it worth this? Did I really get things done? Is this really what I needed? Or, and if it is, it usually is, am I ready now to commit to a 6-month, a little bit higher cost because there's more involved, and do more to grow my business? Because in the first one, learned how to be a good group member, how to participate, to take, to give, to learn, to brainstorm, to get somebody else's sharing of resources and networks, sharing my own, and all of that, and let's go deeper into the second level, okay? The whole point of mine is to get you getting something done. And it's problem solving in a variety of ways, but it's done by the group. My role is to make sure you're getting what I told you would get. You're getting peer support, peer encouragement, peer troubleshooting. You're giving it in the same way that they're giving it. You are getting answers. You are amongst a group of professionals that have respect for each other and are interested in each other's success. You're in a group that you feel comfortable in, that, you don't have a steamroller. I love the way you said the, what was it, the wilting...
A wilting violet.
Yeah. There was one guy I had to say no to simply because he was a steamroller. He would not... It would not be fair to one of the members of the group. She's not a wilting violet, but she is one that she would have just passively let it happen, So it would have been difficult, and she wouldn't have been comfortable knowing her as I did, because I knew her. I knew her for over a period of time. So the leader is conscious of that, and that's what I do. I'm conscious of who I bring in. I've got one starting.
Role, isn't it? I mean, well, for most people it would be, but not for you. But I mean, I think that I don't think I could. Oh, that sounds like a lot of hard work, because I've had a community, as you know. I've built communities, but not. Yeah. I never thought of doing this, actually. A mastermind group of Twitter, and the Twitter mastermind. Well, you could. Group. I could.
But I would recommend actually that you join me in April on a conversation of how to set up a series of trainings that might have Mastermind as a portion of it, but maybe as an additional revenue stream for yourself.
We shall talk about that offline. Yes.
Yes.
I mean, this is the kind of thing that I want to learn, and I can learn from you how to do that.
And Samantha, that was part of why I jumped in, was because I have an idea for public speakers to leverage live streaming. And I was trying to figure out if it was a mastermind or if it was training. And so Charlene's helped me figure out that I either need to tighten it up to make it the mastermind, or I need to maybe position it differently for it to be a training plus masterminds kind of a thing. And so that was the first half of all of this, was asking questions and trying to kind of figure out what I was going to be doing with my potential mastermind. But now I'm waiting for feedback from everybody.
Wonderful questions. So we do have one. Is it Sevilla? See, I want to go Spanish and say Sevilla, except it's not Sevilla, Spain. Is it Sevilla or Sevilla? One or two? All right. So the question is,
Sevilla, I love your bio, by the way.
Number one, Sevilla. Okay. Do you like masterminds? Oh, absolutely. They have been instrumental in helping me grow my business and grow myself, primarily grow myself, to get things done, because I'm accountable to people. I'm suddenly in a group of people that after over a period of time, I highly respect. And suddenly I just don't really want to come back and say that I got lazy and didn't do something. It's not cool.
So keeps you on your
right?
toes. Keeps you on your toes
Yep.
and keeps you focused. Yeah.
Correct.
We
And
all
then,
need a bit of that.
do you know how I can create a 1-year program, including how much to charge, etc.? Yes, I do. And I can't address that now because it's going to go too in depth, but I am in the process of fleshing out an e-course, how to set up, manage, and market a mastermind group that will give you the tools that you can use to whatever type of group that you want to set up, manage, and market. And it goes into, the questionnaire for potential members that you use in your conversation with them to vet them. It will have a description, the history, the 3 keys to a successful mastermind. What does a mastermind group look like? All that stuff.
I so want to do this. When is it ready?
Okay. All right, so I'm in the process. My hope is that I can have it created and ready for sale and launched by the end of this weekend. But it takes a heck of a lot more than I thought it would. Honestly,
Charlene,
I thought I'd just convert a webinar. No, it's not.
So
yes.
Okay, here's my question. In my old profession, where I'm officially retired, I was a organizing expert, helped people with their clutter, and I advanced all the way to the top of the mountain. I was working with true hoarders, and what brought me into social media was doing a year-long research project on shopping habits. And at the time, Twitter was taking off, and so it made sense to transfer when I started to get burnt out. However, what I'm seeing, especially in the concept of the mastermind group idea, and then what people are doing with live streaming and the public speakers that I'm looking at, just because they're a dedicated group that I'm in a Facebook group with, so they seem like a good test group to try with. I almost would rather be saying I'm an accountability partner, so I'm wearing both hats, but that gets away from the mastermind. And so I don't know. Is that something that a group of people would be like, I need that accountability partner where everybody comes in and they check in, but they use each other to support as well. So like you're saying, I wanted to have this launched. It's more work than I thought, okay. So then I'm in this group of people where we're all trying to launch something, and we come and we check in. April moderates us, and maybe she gives some resources of, you can go to this person who will do that in 5 minutes. It'll take you 5 hours, like that kind of a thing. I don't know. It just kind of popped in my head.
So you can have every mastermind group turns into an accountability group.
Okay.
It's different than an accountability partner. It's very, very difficult to have your leader be a full participant in the group. It is for me. It is for me. It's also difficult for me to watch my leader be a full participant, because there's that role. You are the leader. You're up here. You're over here. You're behind the desk. You are here. I need you to do your role so that I can do mine. I'm sure some work out well where it's full participation by everybody, and it's an accepted who's going to be the leader.
That's interesting, though.
But not in mine. The ones that I run, especially the ones I charge for, it makes no sense for me to be a participant. Makes no sense. How cheated would you feel if you were paying money and I took up just as much time talking about my own crap? Because that's how you're going to look at it. I know you're going to start thinking, what the hell are you doing talking about your crap? How that's not what I'm here for. You don't want to say it, but really you could care less about me because you're not getting what you need.
Where are you during all this? Where are you? Are you just moderating and watching?
I'm leading and moderating, asking questions, setting tone, making sure that if somebody crosses the line, they're stopped. Making sure that if somebody turns into a steamroller, that they're stopped. Making sure that those who are starting to call, watching the group dynamics, because sometimes, sometimes you can watch the people you can see the face when somebody's talking, right? So it's up to me to recognize that and to step in, maybe change something or what have you, I want to answer this question before I lose it, because when I go to the site, I can't scroll down the questions on the side. So in the comment area, is there a definitive book or website that details what mastermind groups are all about? No. Other than Napoleon Hill's law of success. And it is in chapter 2 and 3 where he goes more in depth about mastermind groups. The Cliff Notes version is Think and Grow Rich, where he refers to it. He's the one that came up with the term. The type of groups have been meeting for centuries, but he's the one that came up with the term and what it looks like in terms of business, which is where I'm coming from, what it looks like in terms of how to grow your business.
Charlene,
yes.
Can I just say,
yes.
I think that in Ireland, there would be a huge market for you to teach us how to do this.
Fly me over, honey. I'll learn your accent. That's
no, but if you're going to do this online, I have a women's group on Facebook.
Yes, I do this online.
The Women's Inspire Network on Facebook. I have 2,500 women there, and we all want to learn from each other. So I kind of have I have a Twitter Superstars group as well, which is all about Twitter just. But the women's group is huge, and I chose a few selected ones from that group that I knew were doing well on Twitter, that I knew were interested in Twitter, and invited them to this other group. But I don't know what I was doing, but maybe that's what I was doing subconsciously, was creating a group of people maybe with this in mind, you see, serendipity and all that. So Charlene, if you're on Facebook, will you connect with me and I'll add you to the group, and then at least you can, when your course is ready, then you can actually say, look guys, I'm doing this. If you're interested, if you're an expert in your field and you're interested in learning how to do mastermind groups, this is my course, blah, blah, blah.
Terrific. Would love to. Yeah, we'll connect. Now what I'm doing is I actually have a group starting November 11th. And it's set up to meet for 3 months, the second and fourth Wednesday of every month, from 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern Time, meeting online. Mm-hmm. So if anybody's interested in joining it, I'd love to talk with you, because it's not full yet. I have to have a minimum of 5 people for it to be a viable group.
Put the link in the comments.
Sure.
You see,
and really
guys,
what this is
actually, hi John. John Sweeney. Is it John Sweeney? John Sweeney has just joined from Ireland as well. He's on Blab, and he's a lovely guy.
So go to this link, and when you register, you're not saying bill me and join the group. What you're doing is you're saying, and you'll see it on the registration page, you're saying set an appointment. I'm interested in learning more. And so I'll give you more description, how the billing's done, costs, and everything associated, because there's multiple levels of masterminds. Which one are you interested in? That sort of thing.
Perfect. So. Well, I'll jump out in case anybody else wants to jump in. But Sam and Janine, if you guys want to jump on a Skype call after this, I have some time. So just let me know.
I do too. What's your Skype ID?
I will DM it to you.
Okay.
Someone has asked me about that women's group. Is it okay if I throw the link in there, Charlene? The women's group on Facebook, it's free. Like, it's not, it's just all women, female entrepreneurs, if you want to join. And all it is just helping each other, basically. So that's the one you have to join, Charlene. Okay. It's just a big group of women like us. And it's just,
but if I click, on it, it's not going to take me, it's not going to shut down my Blab, right?
No. But Trevor,
yay.
Yeah. So Women's Inspire Network, yeah. So I mean, I think this would be actually a good way for me to go, wouldn't it? Mastermind group on Twitter.
I don't know. I'm happy to have a conversation with you.
Yeah, let's do
that. Like I said, this is one of the reasons why I'm going to be creating this course. I've seen there's only 2 or 3 actual e-courses. I've purchased them. I've looked at them and said, this is crap. This does not tell. But the way I work is, tell me how to do this. They're not doing that. They're just introducing you to the concept, and this is what you do when you get together. I'm like, no, because the groups I've been running, well, the thing is that the group that the course I'm putting together will give you a bit of the history, right? And then it'll go over the different types of mastermind groups. Because you see, there's different types.
Okay.
Mine is set up so that everybody has a time to speak and to get answers and to ask questions and to have discussion, and the focus is on them during that time during the meeting, right? But there's groups that are set up strictly as hot seat groups. You know that going in, that we're going to meet once a week, and every week there's going to be a new person who's going to be in the hot seat. There's groups that are set up strictly about business. There's groups that are set up strictly about personal issues and personal problems. There's groups that are centered around book discussions, and study groups that want to take what they learned and then apply. You know, so there's just a variety of groups. So I go through all that, and then I go through how to set it up. You know, are you going to be online, or are you going to be in person? What's it going to take to do either one of those? You know, what's involved? You're going to charge more if you're in person, because now you've got a room. You're going to have a room or a venue, right? A meeting place. And most often than not, you're going to want to feed them. You get a group of people together and you don't have food and beverage. You're pissed.
So you can't do a mastermind group online?
I do all mine online.
Okay.
I'm just saying that there's the difference. You're going to charge more if you're going to be in in person than you are online. And then I cover what kind of fees. Fees go anywhere from $97 a month to $25,000 a pop.
Ah, come on.
No, it's true. And the different types of groups, and they're viable groups. Trust me. That 25 grand, you're told what's going to happen. This is what you are coming together with peers who want to do an intense gathering weekend after weekend. You know, it's one weekend per quarter, and you are going to fly in, and we're going to gather together. Because if you can afford 25 grand, you can afford to fly someplace, right? But we're already coming together as a business that we're going to be looking for joint venture partnerships, collaborations. We're going to be looking at how can you help me to grow my business? Is anybody in here able to help me grow my business? If not, I expect you to introduce me to somebody else, because that's part of the agreement.
Okay.
Right?
So it's kind of a referral network as well.
Kind of.
Yeah.
It depends on how it's set up. My whole reason for having this and the previous ones and the future ones is that bastardization that's happened over the past couple of years. People are not meeting the expectations of their customers. They're not.
Yeah.
I mean, I went to what was called a mastermind earlier this year. It was a part of a conference, and afterwards we were separate. We had 3 days where we all hung together. There were roughly 70 of us in our own tables. And I'm sitting there and I'm waiting for the masterminding part, which was at each group talking to each other, each table, right? No, it was training sessions, which was fine. I was perfectly okay with what I paid for the training session. I learned a bunch. But once again, I'm the one that walks out just as ticked off as the ones before me that had said, they told me I was going to get this, and that's not what I got. So I thought, well, you know what? I've been doing this since 2009. It's about time I took it public. I took the first one public in October, and it filled up quick. For some reason, the November one's not filling up as quick. So I said, well, you know, put it out there, see if people are interested. Let's get people together and do this. So I keep hearing that there's this need. So, and I think it's important that people understand the historical difference between a group coaching, training, workshops, and masterminds.
Yeah.
So
I was teaching a workshop this morning in Ennis in County Clare, which is in the west. So I drove 4.5 hours, and I stayed in a hotel. I woke up at 6 o'clock this morning, and I taught the workshop, and everyone was really happy. Lots of pictures and stuff, but I'm exhausted. You know,
it can be, especially when it's in person, which is why I prefer online.
Yeah.
In all honesty, I love the in-person ones, but online, and I enjoy doing workshops.
I love it.
Enjoy them,
oh
right?
my gosh, yeah, yeah.
But it's all the travel before and after that I have to take days off to recoup from. So,
yes.
But that's okay. That's okay. Get me started online with your group, and then fly me out to Ireland. It's a good thing.
We have the social media summit coming up in March.
Well, I got to go. Let's see. I got to go to County Cork and County Mayo. That's where my people are from.
You can do your how to create your mastermind. You can do that workshop at the social media conference. Oh, there's just so many things. And you know what?
Hey, listen, I just got invited to do it on a cruise. In February.
Go away. Why don't I get those invitations? I mean, there is.
Well, then I was told. No, then I was told. Then I was told I could get my cabin paid for it if I got 8 people to sign up. I said, "Listen, I'm marketing everything else." So.
Wow. Raising hand. Oh, sorry. Yes, social flirting social. What's over? Okay. Did you go to Web Summit? No, I didn't go to Web Summit.
Right.
Web Summit was on here for the past 3 days, and because I was going to County Clare to train, you see, I'd already booked that ages ago. And I get booked up like a few months in advance, and the Web Summit was on, which is a huge event. It's like €800 for a ticket, and it's all it's kind of cool, but it goes on here every year, so it's a 3-day event. It was cool. There was great tweets and stuff, people from all over the world, but they're moving to Lisbon next year to Portugal, so that's why I decided to do my social media summit next year to fill the gap. So
good girl.
We'll see.
That's how you do it.
Yeah. But you know, that has helped so much with just, you know, like what you're doing here, you know, like what we're doing here talking. I mean, we didn't know each other 2 months ago, you know, and it's building relationships.
2 or 3 months ago is when we first,
Yeah.
All right. So back to mastermind groups.
Sorry.
I can't get this. Do you know how to get this question piece to?
Yeah. If you go
there
to.
It goes. I got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Don't you have a course about conducting masterminds? Oh, yeah, Chuck. Yeah, I'm putting one together, and he just left, bless his heart. Is there a definitive book? Got that answered. There's, you know, I could write a definitive book. I'm not going to. I'm not interested in writing a book. I'm going to do it as a course. And then I could change the course into be invited to do a webinar, right? If somebody, or be a part of something where I'm teaching about mastermind groups, how to do it, or moderating mastermind groups within a summit, like a social media gathering summit, you know, where they say, we're going to have as part of this a professionally moderated, facilitated mastermind group. I'm just scrolling through to make sure the questions have been addressed, those who did it where they actually put out there. We're good. Okay.
Okay. Well, will I hop up and let someone else in?
All right.
I'll see you on the women's group, and then you can put your thing up when you have it ready. Or if you want to try and get a couple more people on your November thing, do put it up. Like, that's what it's for. It's for promoting each other's stuff, you know.
Honest to goodness, I'd love to get some more people in that November. I really want it to start November 11th. If I don't have enough people, I won't start it. It's not fair to those who are coming. They're expecting, right? They're expecting at least 5 other people that are going to help them to reach their goals. So anyway, yeah, seats are open. Questions? I'd love to hear your experiences. Am I off track? Am I the only one that's hearing this? I paid this for a mastermind group and I didn't get squat. It turned into all about the trainer, all about the coach, all about the consultant, you know.
Well, I've never paid for one yet.
Okay.
Yet. But what would make me pay for one would be, number one, people buy from people. So it would be someone I already know. Someone I've already engaged with.
That's why I'm on Lab talking about it. Yep.
It would definitely be someone I've already engaged with or knew already, and that I knew by the way she went on or he went on that they knew their stuff. So it's trust, isn't it? All that, yeah. So I'll hop out now because someone else is coming in, okay? Bye, guys.
Okay, so talk to you soon. Oh, thank you. Hi, Sevilla.
Hi, Charlene. Incognito because I don't have any makeup on, and I really believe in branding.
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Perfectly okay. Perfectly okay. Thank you for letting us know. Well, you have poor internet signal anyway.
So, do I?
Yeah, it's showing up as audio only, but it's good audio.
Well, you answered most of my questions on the sideline, but I have attended. I did attend one mastermind that was back in April, and it was good. It was a 3.5 day event, and I learned quite a bit. but it was kind of tight for me because I quit my job this month that we're in now a year ago. So I've been, living off my savings. Anyway,
Done that.
yeah, but I'm really passionate about what I do.
Mm-hmm.
And, even if I have to go back to corporate America to pay the bills, I'll do that and do this on the side. That's not a problem.
Okay.
However, my issue is, as you can see in my bio, I want to write a program, and I don't know if it should be 6 months or 1 year. I'm really leaning towards 1 year, where I can get women who are struggling emotionally, especially with being childless, not by choice, to a point where they can live with it. And I feel like a program would be good, but I don't know if I should call it a mastermind. And so I wanted to do some
Not
research
if you are going to be the guide on getting them there, and you are the one that is going to facilitate the groups with specific exercises, with like a group, almost like a group therapy, where you're the one that really is guiding everything towards their healing. They'll heal each other because it's natural in those type of groups to talk to each other. But again, the focal point of a mastermind is to solve a problem.
Okay.
And we're gathering together intentionally to help solve a problem. Now, what's the problem? So in one of my groups, it's I'm not reaching my goals. I've got this project that has been sitting on the side that hasn't been done, and I can't get it done. So I need help and people to help me to get it done. And it looks like this. We come in and we share what our goals are, and then we talk to each other about, you've got way too much on your plate. Let's refine what you've got. And it's not me doing it, it's the rest of the group. How can I refine this? What's really more important? How can I do this? What should be my next stop? And what should be my steps I should take and accomplish over the next 2 weeks before our next meeting that ultimately is going to help me reach my goal? And sometimes it means that I don't know where I'm supposed to go to do this. So it's a sharing of resources. It's a sharing of networks. I know somebody, let me introduce you offline, get you together so that you have somebody to talk to, that sort of thing, and then move on. That's it. What you're talking about is really more of a life coaching, therapeutic, retreat. There's all kinds of other terms that would be more appropriate.
So
I love the idea. Absolutely love the idea.
But it's not a mastermind. So I'm just, even though I have a group of questions that I'm still tweaking the questions to see if these people are even serious about joining this.
Oh, you should.
Group.
Yeah, because you need to gauge their level of commitment. But also, it's why I charge. Honestly, it's why I charge, because even if I know you, listen, we've known each other on Blab for a while, and you've seen me in action, I've seen you in action. Oh, this is awesome. We have a private conversation. Woohoo, yes, it'd be great to have you as part of this group. And I don't charge you anything. Where's your commitment level? Right. But I charge you something, you're going to think twice about just dropping out because it's inconvenient. Or suddenly it's, I'm kind of really tired tonight. And so by having a little skin in the game in terms of dollars, combined with then having just told all these people, this is what I want to get done, you're already feeling a little bit of accountability there that you're going to show up so you have something to offer, right? So it's that combination of the group dynamic that works so well with the way I do it. Yours is very different. You're talking about wounded women, and they're struggling with very, very personal issues. And yes, there's going to be parts that are going to turn into a mastermind session. But honestly, I don't know if they're going to be attracted to something that's called a mastermind for that.
Right. I don't know if that's the right term, but that's the only way I know it as. And so I don't know what to call it, actually. But I'm not even really there yet if I'm still working on content. And that's where your class came in.
Okay, so flesh out your content and then just start talking about it to other people, because what will happen is, just as you did here, April, I think it is more of a support group, but I don't know if that's the term that our market will respond to.
No.
But as you talk about it, you think exactly what April just did, which was to throw out there, well, is it more like this? Is it more like that? And what can happen is that something will resonate with you and you'll start playing with it. And suddenly you hit on, I love that, peer strength group.
Oh, I love that.
So there's something to, exactly. You'll find that. But it really, for me, what ends up, something like that comes at the end after I flesh things out. Because I start with like a working title and then I start fleshing it out. Okay. So I offer that to you.
I appreciate that. Thank you so very much.
Oh, you're quite welcome. Glad you jumped on. Thank you.
Have a good one.
You too. Anybody else want to jump in with questions about mastermind groups? Please keep in mind, this is my own opinion based on my own experience and knowledge. And I'm not the definitive expert, but I am an expert because I've been doing this since 2009, moderating groups, facilitating them, and recently put them out to the public. So, and what that means is that from 2009 until October, basically, of this year, it's good to have you here. Oh, it's okay that you're leaving, Amel. I'm glad you were here. Thank you. Wish you the best as well. So what it means by private groups is that it was truly invitation only. I would come across people and I would say, hey, are you interested in gathering for this? What do you think? And it would be private, right? A private invitation. Now I'm out talking about it, marketing it a little bit, opening it up to the public and gathering people and putting people who seem to be well suited to each other into the groups. And it's going well so far. If anybody got questions, pop on in. Be happy to answer them. Or if you've had an experience, good, bad, or indifferent, with a mastermind group, would love to hear what you have to say. Hello, Sandra. Glad you're here. So the room's open. As my friend Melanie Lane likes to say, this is a dialogue, not a monologue. And April brought that up, right? It's good afternoon here. Glad you're here, Sandra. What time is it in wherever you are? Anybody else? Just questions. Feel free to ask them. Happy to answer. Netherlands. That's another place I need to go to. If you know anybody out there that wants to bring somebody in to do mastermind groups, give me a holler. Come on in, Sander.
Oh, hello. Good evening.
Hello. How are you?
Oh, I'm looking very orange.
Yes, which I wasn't going to, I wasn't going to say anything just in case that was normal out of the Netherlands.
Oh, all right. Well, it's late in the evening here, and this is my first blob, so...
Okay. So to heck with it.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's okay. It's okay. I can practice my English a little bit.
Sounding good so far. So what do you think of mastermind groups?
I've never been engaged or I never went on a mastermind group.
Okay. So have you ever met somebody who's been in one?
Yeah, I know a few people who read the book about Mastermind. Think and Grow Rich is about masterminding also.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. Napoleon Hill is the one that came up with the term, actually. Now, those type of groups have been going on for years. It's just never an official name. Although there was one, Benjamin Franklin called it either Gento or Junto groups. I'd have to look that up again, where they're coming together, like-minded people coming together for a specific purpose. So that's what we're doing here, answering questions about what a mastermind is. What I'm talking about is related to Napoleon Hill, where business people are coming together to grow their businesses, get things done. And my groups are for solopreneurs who have projects or issues with running their business or with their project, trying to get something done and can't seem to do it, and want the peer support, peer accountability, and peer problem solving that comes with a mastermind group.
Okay, well, I'd like to expand my business, and I'm wondering if when you are in the group, if you're going faster within the group or when you are alone.
Usually faster, and that's because when you're by yourself, you're stuck in your own head.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So if you're stuck trying to wrestle with a problem and can't find an answer, you, generally speaking, go to somebody else to bounce it off of them to see what they have to say. Maybe it's somebody you know has already gone through the issue or has already done it, so you can find out how did they do it, where am I stuck. In a mastermind group, you have 6, 7 other people who are focused on giving you your answers. And I'm going to say, hey, April, yeah, go grab lunch. I'll message you, and we'll have a conversation later.
Bon
So
appetit.
it's, yeah.
Bon appetit.
No, wait a minute. You're Netherlands. Why are you speaking French?
I don't know, because
Okay.
because I don't know how to say it in English.
That'll work. Love that. That'll work. So anyway, that's why I'm here. And what happened is that over the past couple of years, people have been using the term mastermind, and their customers, I'm hearing from their customers over the past couple of years that they're upset because that really wasn't a mastermind group they were a part of. It really was a workshop. It was more of a seminar. It was more of a webinar or training sessions. It was all about the person that was putting on what they called the mastermind group. And a real mastermind, based on that description from Think and Grow Rich, is that it is a peer group. It is the group helping the people and each other and themselves to solve problems. I moderate them because what I have found out is that if you have a group of people gathering on a regular basis, the group can devolve into a social setting. It's a social group that we're gathering. We're not talking business anymore because we have more fun talking to social stuff. So that's my job, is to keep things on track.
So, if I'm all right, you have one subject to discuss with all the people in the network, in the mastermind group. So you don't help each other with a different problem, but you're engaged in one subject.
No, it can be different subjects. It can be. And now it can be, honestly, it can be where there's an agenda that each meeting tackles a particular topic or subject. The ones that I run, each meeting is divvied up in terms of time slots for each person to present the group with an update of where they are, what's been happening, where they want to go. So, of course, it's going to be different for each person. So what happens is everybody else is listening to Sander talk about, so this is how far I've gotten in writing my book. And I am just totally stuck. I am stuck. And we all know that your goal at the end of the 3 months of being a part of this group was to have the full outline and the chapters at least titled. But you couldn't even, by the time we're at the third meeting, you're still stuck on a working title. It's just not coming. It's just not coming. So the group comes together and starts asking questions. So what are you doing to brainstorm? What are you doing to research? What kind of research have you done? Who have you been talking to? You know, well, I might know somebody. If that's where you're stuck, is on a particular topic, maybe, or subject matter for a chapter, I know somebody. Let's see if I can help you get there. If it's fleshing out the details of something else, somebody else will say, you know, I've got a resource. So here's some videos that have been really helpful to me. And so they help each other come up with answers to keep you moving towards your final goal, which is what you came to the group to accomplish. Did that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. It's
okay.
Quite interesting. Thank you.
It works. It's how it helped me grow my business. You know?
Okay.
I'm an advocate. Let's see. Troy just came in. Hey, Troy. Good to see you. Love John Maxwell. That's my business coach, is John Maxwell. coach. Well, good to have you, Sandra. Thanks for popping in.
Yes, I'm popping out. Thank you for the invite. Okay.
Go
Bye-bye.
enjoy some other blabs. Have fun.
Yeah.
And get some sleep. Just so you know, get some sleep. If you're not careful, you're going to be up until 4 o'clock in the morning blabbing. All right. Seats are open. Anybody wants to jump in with any questions about mastermind groups? What kind they are, how to set them up? Troy. There you are.
Hey,
hi, Troy.
How you doing?
I'm good. It's good to see you.
Likewise. So I just seen the topic. I guess I came in on the end of the black.
Yep. I'm finishing up a 2-hour.
Okay. Wow. Okay. So I just see masterminds, and I know with the John Maxwell group we do masterminds. So I was just trying to listen in and get a little tips and find out. I haven't done a mastermind yet, and I'm planning on within the next month or two. And so I was just trying to see what was some good practices, bad practices.
Well, the one you're going to do, are you going to start with the free one that's offered through?
I'm trying. I'm debating between that one and then we got the intentional living, and so debating. But what do you suggest? Because I know the 21, I will get the experience, but then the intentional, then I can charge. So what do you think? What would be your recommendation?
I'm going to recommend that you start with absolutely no experience. That you start with the free one.
Okay.
So that you can get a feel for it. Now, as far as I know, they're going to provide you with all the details of how it should be run.
Correct.
Okay. So you follow their program because it's been proven to be successful. And that will give you the practice of actually moderating a mastermind group, because it's not everybody can do it.
Gotcha. Okay.
You know, they really can't. And you just don't know what you don't know until you start doing it. Okay. And, plus, it also gives you an opportunity to meet the people that you want to invite into the paid.
Right? Correct. It's true.
So that's the lead in. You're giving quality content in the free, but it's a lead in and a good way to move them into the paid, because they see you, they like who you are. They're comfortable now. They know how to be a member of a mastermind group, and you can move them in. So definitely start with the free one first.
I appreciate that. That's huge. I just got some great advice today.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. Thank you.
Thank you. Now tell me more about you, Charlene.
And that's a loaded question. What do you want to know?
More about yes, what you're doing, your business, and everything.
All right. Well, my title is I call myself a marketing and search consultant.
Okay.
And I've been in marketing since the 80s in a variety of capacities. And I started Search by Burke as a full-service online marketing agency business research firm in 2008. From there, under that, working with businesses, I trained and have trained from in workshops one-on-one and via webinars, everything with online marketing, from SEO 101 to email marketing programs, how to set them up, how to, then in classroom settings, everything from that, SEO 101, blogging, and taught a 6-hour class on how to build your own WordPress website before they had all the themes they have now.
Okay.
Trust me, that was fun. So I'm a trainer at heart, because I'm a firm believer that you got to know before you can grow.
I like that.
So hence what happened is that I was so called to be working with individuals that in 2014, I started Grow Because You Know as a part of Search by Burke. So I work with individuals, again, as a marketing and search consultant. Okay. In all of that, since 2009, I've been moderating mastermind groups for solopreneurs. And some of them have owned brick and mortars, and they have a couple of employees, maybe tops 1 or 2 employees. Most of them are solopreneurs. They outsource a lot of things, but they're consultants, they're coaches, they are planners, they are physicians. There's Lord of mercy, who else is in there? We've got trainers. Okay. They're the individuals solely responsible for the growth and management of the company. Okay. And what happens is solopreneurs get lonely.
Right.
And when you get lonely and you're stuck in your own head, you don't make good decisions.
Gotcha.
So The mastermind groups are set up so that they have a place to come with other solopreneurs who can help them solve problems related to them or their business so that they can grow.
Okay.
And I moderate them. I'm not a full participant. I moderate them.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Okay. I like that. Well,
Thank
Charlene,
you.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for the advice.
Thanks, Troy.
See you around. I will pop in from time to time. You said you've been going 2 hours, but
I'm closing it up. Have
a good day.
I'll tell you what.
Yes.
Let me put on here. Let's see. It's online mastermind group, and I threw up a freebie Weebly site just to flesh it out a bit.
Okay.
I've got other professional sites, but I don't want it to be found. I don't want it to be indexed. I just want a place to send people for more information about the groups and about me. Some testimonials are up there and what have you. So check it out. If it looks good to you, pass it on.
Okay, I'll do that. Yes, I'll do that.
Okay.
All right.
Good
Thank
to see you.
All right, you too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, 2 hours. After 3 hours this morning, people, I'm pooped. I want to thank you all for being here. It has been a joy. I'm going to pause. I'm going to stop the recording. This is Charlene Burke with Grow Because You Know. It's www.growbecauseyouknow.com, talking about mastermind groups. Interested in learning more about the groups that I moderate, and if maybe they're a good fit for you, then I suggest you go to onlinemastermindgroup.com. Register your interest, because that's all you're doing. And what will happen is you and I will have a conversation about what it is you're looking for and if this group might be a good one for you. I have one starting November 11th, 2015, but others are starting in January as well and throughout the year in 2016. So thank you for joining.